Before you scroll, before you decide this is just another performance story, pause for a second. Because what happens here is the kind of moment people remember years later, the kind that makes you sit up, hold your breath, and feel something deep in your chest. And if you've ever believed that one voice can change a life, then stay till the very end. And hey, if this story moves you even a little, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this deserve to be shared. The lights of the AGT Champions stage glow brighter than ever in 2025. This isn't a regular audition night. Every performer standing backstage is already a legend in their own way, champions, fan favorites, voices that once shook the world. The audience buzzes with expectation, judges settle into their seats, and Simon Cowell leans back with that familiar look, half curiosity, half skepticism. He has seen it all. Or so he thinks. Then a quiet figure walks onto the stage. Marcelito Pomoy doesn't rush. He doesn't wave dramatically. He stands there with a calm humility, dressed simply, carrying himself like a man who has lived 1,000 lives before stepping under these lights. The crowd applauds warmly, but there's an unspoken question in the air. Can he really surprise us again? Simon glances down at his notes, then back up. He remembers Marcelito. The rare voice. The viral sensation. The man who could sing like two souls living in one body. Simon raises an eyebrow slightly, the way he does when expectations are high and patience is thin. Marcelito, he says, this is Champions. Everyone here is world-class. So tell me, why are you back? Marcelito smiles softly, eyes shining but steady. He speaks about family. About responsibility. About singing not to impress, but to honor the struggles that shaped him. He doesn't say much, yet somehow every word lands. The audience quiets. Even Simon listens more closely than he expected to. The music begins slow, almost fragile. Marcelito starts in his deep, rich male voice, smooth and controlled. It's beautiful, undeniably so, but Simon's expression barely changes. Beautiful isn't enough here. Not tonight. Then something happens. Without warning, Marcelito shifts. His voice rises, not forced, not strained, but pure, soaring, heartbreakingly clear. A female tone fills the theater, and the audience gasps in unison. Heads turn. Hands fly to mouths. A woman in the front row begins to cry without even realizing it. Simon's posture changes instantly. He leans forward, eyes locked on the stage. Marcelito doesn't stop there. He moves between voices effortlessly, weaving a conversation between two souls, love and loss, hope and despair, past and future. It feels less like a performance and more like a story being told through sound alone. Each note carries years of sacrifice. Each transition feels like a door opening to another chapter of his life. As the song builds, memories flash behind his eyes, growing up poor in the Philippines, losing his mother, surviving on the streets, singing not for fame but for food, for survival. You can hear it in his voice. This isn't technique. This is truth. The audience rises to their feet before the song even ends. Some are crying openly now. Others stand frozen, afraid to break the spell. The final note hangs in the air, trembling, then fades into silence. For one long second, no one moves. Then the theater explodes. Applause crashes like thunder. Cheers roar from every corner. The judges stand. All of them. But Simon. Simon Cowell looks stunned. Truly stunned. He shakes his head slowly, a smile creeping across his face, the kind he doesn't give easily. When the noise finally settles, Simon speaks. His voice is quieter than usual, but every word cuts through the air. He admits something he rarely does, that he was wrong. That he thought he knew what to expect. That Marcelito didn't just sing a song, he created a moment. A moment that reminded everyone why this show exists in the first place. Marcelito listens, hands trembling slightly now, emotion finally catching up to him. Tears well in his eyes. Not tears of victory, but of relief. Of gratitude. Of knowing that all the pain, all the waiting, all the nights of doubt led him right here. The judges vote, but by then it hardly matters. The audience has already decided. This wasn't just a performance. It was a reminder that talent can come from anywhere, that the most powerful voices often rise from the hardest lives, and that true artistry isn't about perfection, it's about honesty. As Marcelito leaves the stage, he bows his head, whispering a quiet thank you to the judges, to the audience, to the journey that almost broke him but never did. And as the lights dim, one truth remains clear. Some performances entertain you for a moment. Others stay with you forever. If this story touched your heart, if Marcelito's journey inspired you even a little, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because somewhere out there, another voice is waiting to be heard, and your support helps bring these stories to life. No one notices the quiet moments before history is made. The breath before the first note. The second where doubt whispers, what if this isn't enough? Right now, before anything happens, before judges react and the crowd explodes, there is just one man standing alone on the biggest stage of his life. And what he's about to do will shock Simon Cowell and remind the world why music still matters. If this story touches your heart, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because moments like this deserve to be remembered. The year is 2025, and America's Got Talent Champions feels different. This isn't a show for dreams anymore, this is a battlefield of legends. Every contestant walking onto that stage has already proven themselves. They've tasted victory, fame, and pressure. There are no underdogs here. Or at least, that's what everyone believes. Backstage, Marcelito Pomoy stands quietly, eyes closed, hands folded together. He isn't warming up. He isn't pacing. He's remembering. Remembering sleeping on cold streets as a child in the Philippines. Remembering hunger. Remembering singing not for applause, but to survive. Fame came later. Viral videos came later. But pain came first. When his name is called, the audience claps respectfully. They recognize him. They remember the voice that broke the internet years ago. But recognition is dangerous. Expectations are heavier than silence. Simon Cowell watches carefully as Marcelito walks to center stage. Simon has seen miracles turn into disappointments. He knows champions can expose weaknesses just as easily as they celebrate strengths. His face is neutral, guarded. He's asking the question everyone is thinking, can Marcelito still surprise us? The music starts gently, almost shy. Marcelito begins to sing in his male voice, deep and controlled, filled with restraint. It's beautiful, but beauty alone doesn't win champions. Simon tilts his head slightly. The audience listens, waiting for something more. Then, without warning, Marcelito opens a door no one else can. His voice transforms. A female voice rises from him, pure, emotional, impossibly clear. The sound slices through the theater like lightning. The crowd gasps. A judge's hand flies to their chest. Simon's eyes widen as he leans forward, disbelief written across his face. But Marcelito doesn't stop. He moves between voices like two souls sharing one heart. One voice carries strength. The other carries vulnerability. Together, they tell a story of love, loss, and survival. It feels like a conversation between who he was and who he became. As the song builds, the audience forgets they're watching a competition. They aren't judging anymore. They're feeling. Tears roll down faces. People clutch hands. Somewhere in the crowd, someone realizes this song sounds like their own struggle. Simon isn't blinking now. For the first time in a long time, the man known for crushing dreams looks completely undone. This isn't a trick. This isn't a gimmick. This is raw humanity wrapped in melody. The final note hangs in the air, fragile and trembling, like it might break if anyone breathes too loudly. Silence. Then the room erupts. The audience jumps to their feet, cheering, crying, shouting his name. The judges stand, one by one. And Simon Cowell, who rarely gives in to emotion, shakes his head slowly, smiling in disbelief. When Simon speaks, his voice is softer than usual. He admits something rare. He says this performance reminded him why he fell in love with music in the first place. Not for charts. Not for fame. But for moments that make you feel alive. Marcelito's eyes fill with tears. Not because he impressed Simon Cowell, but because the world finally heard the full weight of his journey. The votes come in, but by now they feel secondary. Win or lose, something bigger has already happened. Marcelito didn't just perform. He healed something in himself, and in everyone watching. As he leaves the stage, the applause follows him like a promise. A promise that no matter where you start, no matter how broken the road behind you is, your voice can still carry you forward. And if this story inspired you, if it reminded you to believe again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because the next unforgettable moment might be just one story away. The crowd is loud. The lights are blinding. The judges are ready. But what no one sees is the war happening inside one man's chest. Because in a few seconds, Marcelito Pomoy will either remind the world who he is, or disappear into the noise of legends. And what happens next will leave Simon Cowell speechless. If this story moves you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this don't come around often. America's Got Talent Champions 2025 isn't about hope anymore. It's about pressure. Every performer here has already won hearts once. Coming back means risking everything: your legacy, your reputation, your magic. Marcelito knows this. He feels it with every step he takes toward the stage. He stops at center. Takes a breath. The applause fades into a hush. Simon Cowell studies him carefully. He remembers the viral clips. The shock. The headlines. But time is cruel to miracles. Simon has learned that the world moves on fast. He wants to know if Marcelito can still move it. The music begins quietly, almost like a whisper. Marcelito sings in his male voice first, deep, steady, restrained. It's controlled, almost guarded, like someone holding back a lifetime of memories. Simon listens politely. The audience listens patiently. No one interrupts the moment, but everyone is waiting. Then it happens. Marcelito's voice lifts and transforms. A female voice emerges, haunting and beautiful, filled with emotion so raw it feels dangerous. Gasps ripple through the audience like electricity. Someone whispers, "No way." A judge's eyes fill with tears instantly. Simon sits up straight, completely locked in. Marcelito moves between voices now, not as a trick, but as a confession. One voice carries the weight of survival. The other carries the ache of loss. Together, they tell the story of a boy who lost his parents too young, who slept hungry, who sang to escape the silence of abandonment. Every transition hits harder than the last. This isn't about range. This is about pain finding a language. The song swells, and the theater feels smaller somehow, like everyone is inside the same memory. The audience isn't watching anymore. They're remembering their own struggles. Their own nights of doubt. Their own moments of being unseen. Simon Cowell's face changes completely. The man known for his impossible standards isn't analyzing anymore. He's feeling. His jaw tightens. His eyes don't move. For the first time in a long time, he isn't judging talent, he's witnessing truth. The final note rises, fragile but fearless, and hangs in the air like a question the universe doesn't want to answer. Silence. Then chaos. The crowd explodes to its feet. Applause crashes from every direction. Some people are crying openly now. Others shout his name. The judges stand without hesitation. And Simon Cowell, who rarely shows vulnerability, shakes his head slowly, stunned. When Simon finally speaks, his voice is quiet, almost humbled. He says this performance wasn't just unexpected, it was unforgettable. He admits he didn't think Marcelito could surprise him again. He admits he was wrong. And that this is why Champions exists. Marcelito breaks down. Tears fall freely now. Not tears of victory, but of release. Of knowing that the voice that once helped him survive has now helped him be seen. The votes come later. The results come later. But the truth is already clear. Some performances entertain. Some impress. And some remind the world that beauty can come from broken places. As Marcelito walks off the stage, the applause follows him like a promise, proof that no matter how far you fall, your voice can still lift you higher than ever before. If this story touched your heart, if Marcelito's journey inspired you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because somewhere out there, another unheard voice is waiting, and your support helps bring it into the light. Before the first note is sung, before the judges react, before Simon Cowell changes his expression, there is a silence so heavy it feels loud. This is the moment where everything can go wrong, or everything can change forever. And what happens next will shock millions. If stories of struggle, hope, and impossible talent inspire you, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this is one performance you don't want the world to forget. America's Got Talent Champions 2025 is not a place for second chances. It's where reputations are tested and legends are either reborn or quietly buried. The audience knows this. The judges know this. And standing alone under the lights, Marcelito Pomoy knows this better than anyone. He doesn't look nervous. But inside, memories rush in. A childhood shaped by loss. A boy left without parents. Nights spent hungry, singing to escape the pain. Music was never a dream for him, it was survival. And now, years later, that same voice has brought him back to the biggest stage of his life, where expectations are heavier than applause. Simon Cowell watches closely. He's seen miracles fade before. Viral sensations come and go. Talent alone isn't enough here. Simon leans back, arms crossed, waiting not to be impressed, but to be convinced. The music begins softly. Marcelito starts with his male voice, deep, warm, controlled. It's beautiful, but careful. Almost guarded. The audience listens respectfully, but the room feels tense. Everyone is wondering the same thing: is this enough for champions? Then, in a single breath, everything changes. Marcelito's voice rises and transforms into a soaring female tone, clear, emotional, haunting. The reaction is instant. Gasps echo through the theater. Eyes widen. Hands cover mouths. Simon Cowell leans forward, disbelief written across his face. But Marcelito isn't chasing shock. He's telling a story. He moves between voices like two lives colliding, one voice strong, the other vulnerable. One carries resilience, the other carries heartbreak. Together, they speak of love lost, of loneliness, of a man who had nothing but a song and refused to let go. With every transition, the emotion deepens. The performance no longer feels like a competition. It feels like confession. Like healing. The audience is no longer watching, they are feeling. Tears fall quietly across the room. Some people don't even realize they're crying. Simon Cowell doesn't look away. For the first time, the judge known for crushing honesty isn't analyzing technique. He's listening with his heart. The disbelief on his face slowly turns into something else, respect. The song reaches its peak, swelling with emotion, then strips itself down to one final note. Marcelito holds it gently, as if afraid to break it. Silence. 1 second. 2. Then the room erupts. The audience leaps to their feet, applause crashing like a wave. Judges stand instantly. Cheers fill the theater. And Simon Cowell shakes his head slowly, smiling in pure astonishment. When Simon finally speaks, his voice is calm, almost humbled. He admits he didn't think Marcelito could surprise him again. He admits he was wrong. He says this wasn't just a performance, it was a reminder of why talent shows still matter. Marcelito's composure finally breaks. Tears fall freely now. Not because of praise, but because the world has truly heard him. Not just his voice, but his story. The votes come later. The results come later. But the truth is already written. Some voices entertain. Some voices impress. But a rare few carry the weight of a life and change everyone who listens. As Marcelito walks off the stage, the applause follows him, long and unbroken. A reminder that no matter how painful your beginning is, your voice can still carry you to unimaginable heights. If this story inspired you, if it reminded you to believe in hidden strength and second chances, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because the next unforgettable moment could be just one voice away.